Tonight, Obama fighting back, the former president calling out President Trump in a way that we have not seen before, slamming what he calls the, quote, bizarre and quote ridiculous allegations Trump made against him in the Oval Office just hours ago. So here's some of what Trump said. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they, quote, President Obama absolutely called Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016. But going up all the way, going up to 2020. In the election, they tried to rig the election. We found this isn't like evidence or that this is like proof, irrefutable proof that Obama was seditious. That Obama was trying to lead a coup. All right. Trying to lead a coup. Now, usually anyone associated with Obama just ignores all that. They don't respond. But that is not what happened this time. Obama's spokesperson responded in part, and I quote, Jamal Simmons is out front now, and the former Republican governor of Minnesota, Tim Pawlenty. All right. I appreciate both of you very much. So, Jamal, look, this is a change to come from Team Obama. It's a spokesperson, okay. But it's a change. And to come out and to speak like that, bizarre allegations are ridiculous in a weak attempt at distraction. Now, Trump said that Obama is trying to stage a coup, so that's what caused this. But, what do you think? How significant of a departure is this for Obama to actually say, okay, we're going to respond? Well, first of all, it's pretty rich that the man who was sort of affiliated with the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol is the one accusing people of trying to stage a coup. Obama about a few days ago came out and went after Democrats and said, it's time for Democrats to be, to speak up and to, not do so much navel gazing. He did that at a fundraiser. And so I think a lot of Democrats said, well, a lot of people are speaking up. They're marching, they're stepping up. And where are you at, President Obama? And so now I think we see President Obama stepping up too. And so he's stepping up and saying something to the American public. He refuses to sit back and allow Donald Trump to accuse him of leading a coup. And remember, it wasn't just what he said, Trump said in the Oval Office. President Trump said he also released a video on his social media network showing Barack Obama being arrested in the Oval Office. And that generated video, right? Yeah. And maybe that was part of what prompted the actual response here. It is a change. All right. And it's a change coming from the former president. So it matters in that respect. Governor Pawlenty. Speaker Johnson is now saying that he would not be opposed to subpoenaing Obama to testify before Congress over these allegations. Here he is. We have no concern about that. If it's uncomfortable for him, he shouldn't have been involved in overseeing this, which is what it appears to us has happened. There's a lot of allegations on the table. Our job is to go and follow each of those trials and to find out the truth. Obviously that's coming in the context of the changing of the topic going on in Washington, especially with Johnson away from Epstein. But, Governor, I'm curious as to whether you think Obama now taking a sharper tone and stepping up as opposed to being quiet and trying to take the high road. Is it too little, too late, or does it matter for Democrats? Well, of course, former governors, former presidents always try to be a little measured as to when and how they respond to their successors. President Obama has been pretty muted in that regard, with a few exceptions. But in this case, President Trump called him out directly, and President Obama answered the bell and swung back. Aaron, like you, I read the Mueller report. It basically concluded that the Russians did try to interfere with the election, but there was no actual proof of coordination in that regard. I'm not aware, nor have I seen any public reporting, that President Obama somehow ordered something inappropriate relative to that investigation. If Tulsi Gabbard or the President Trump has that kind of evidence, then they should bring it forward. Otherwise, this seems like puffery. Right? Well, absolutely. That and certainly not helpful in the political climate we're in this country. But Jamal Obama fighting back and I hear the governor saying, look, this was specific and something specific perhaps merited a response. And maybe we don't read into it an overall change. But there are so many in the Democratic Party saying, come on, where is the leadership? Who is going to be the standard bearer of that party? And someone who has certainly seems to be trying to take that on and testing different ways, is Gavin Newsom from California, constantly going after Trump after for a while talking the other way to say, well, I'm going to talk to Bannon. I'm going to talk to all these people. I'm gonna figure it out. But now he's posting things about Epstein and Trump, and he just said this about Trump and his immigration policies. It's a weakness masquerading as strength. That's what I don't like about this son of a I don't, and forgive me, I know he's the president of the United States, forgive me. I didn't, you know, yeah. He calls me new scum. You know, come on. So what do you think of that, Jamal? Well, I think he's conflicted about how hard to answer to use profanity. But listen, I think Gavin Newsom is the one Democrat I hear the most about from people who don't work in Washington and don't work in politics. And the reason why I think I care about Gavin Newsom is because he's out there and really taking on Trump in a really forceful way. He'll go anywhere on Fox News or any other channel, and he'll do anything to kind of make his case. I think a lot of Democrats are looking for somebody. It's not really about policy, but somebody who's got the attitudinal toughness who will take on Trump. We'll see how that works out. But what we have seen is in California, his poll numbers have gone up from a 38% to about 56%, because I think voters like to see him taking on Trump and not just sitting back and trying to find a middle road. Do you think Gavin Newsom has it right, Governor? I think Governor Newsom is an energetic and gifted communicator, but his policies suck. I mean, can you imagine him running in Pennsylvania and Ohio and Wisconsin and places that are going to decide the next presidential election? He's got a long history of ultra-left policies in California and in San Francisco, and I just don't see how that's going to sell nationally, notwithstanding his gifted oratory skills. Gifted oratory skills of which he has. I don't know if calling someone a son of a, you know, what might go in that category. But he does have those skills, whether you count that or not. Are we in the policy era? I just don't know that we're in the policy era anymore with Donald Trump. I think we've moved to a different phase of the game. And I think this phase of the game, frankly, is not that nice. Well, although that's if you look at why Trump, and when you look at why Trump won the last election, besides his oversized personality, inflation, immigration, crime, wokeness run amok, those are policies, right? The fed into the personality. All right. Thank you both, I appreciate it. And see you both soon. We here at the Arena just got a statement in from the former president's office, and we're going to read that to you. So, they say this, quote, that comes from Patrick Rodenbush in President Obama's office. So, Kristen, I feel like I'm flashing back to when Trump was helicoptering to New Hampshire and Barack Obama was at the podium releasing his birth certificate, because it really does seem like we have been transported back to that time because President Trump doesn't want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein anymore. What is your latest reporting? Yeah, that's true. And President Obama might want to get ready to continue to respond, because I am told that this is just the beginning of what Gabbard intends to release, that there are more documents, more related to Russia. So this might be an ongoing theme. Now, President Trump, both publicly and behind the scenes, has been complaining about why exactly everyone wants to keep talking about Epstein. Just moments ago, he posted this on Truth Social. He said, "We had the greatest 6 months of any president in the history of our country, and all the fake news wants to talk about is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. It has been obvious that President Trump wants to talk about literally anything but Jeffrey Epstein. He has pushed conspiracy theories. He has discussed various accomplishments in office. He has put videos on social media that have literally nothing to do with anything going on in the country currently. But nothing was more clear than when President Trump was asked specifically about this unsealing of the grand jury documents and the fact that the Department of Justice wanted to sit down with Maxwell. Take a listen. Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do. Do you have any concern that your deputy attorney general is your former attorney conducting the interview given? No, I have no concern. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is quote, President Obama absolutely called Tulsi Gabbard, what they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way, going up to 2020 in the election. And Casey, one thing to note here, this has put this situation, this case, this investigation and the memo from the Department of Justice has put the White House in a position it doesn't often find itself, which is on the defensive. Now, they had a brief moment where they felt like they were bringing the MAGA base together at the end of the week last week with that Wall Street Journal story. The fact that they sued the Wall Street Journal, they saw the different members of the base coming to President Trump's defense. But it seems as though that is waning, because what we're hearing from these MAGA loyalists and from these Republican lawmakers is they want more information and they want it quickly. One of the most interesting things I heard actually came from our Manu Raju up on the Hill, who was talking to Republican Senator Josh Hawley yesterday, who said his constituents are calling him and that they want more information about Jeffrey Epstein. So not going away anytime soon. Casey.